So my name is Greg Hallenbeck with Environmental Tillage Systems, or more commonly known as the Soil Warrior product line. We're celebrating 15 years of commercial production this year after our inventor, Mark Bauer. It was a few years before that. And we can talk more about the durability and longevity of our equipment a little later, but we know serial number 2 is still in operation. We're guessing number 1 is, but we don't know where it's at. So, but yeah, a little bit about myself. I actually live in Northwest Iowa, originally from Eastern Iowa. Live in Northwest Iowa, help a relative farm, and we've been strip tilling for 12 or 15 years, and I felt pretty comfortable with it before I came to this company last August. But yet, now in talking to growers and learning more about the soil science and the underground life and how it all works together, once you get that going, when you stop full conventional tillage, I'm really enjoying learning more about that and finding out what's working well for growers and helping them achieve what they want to do. I'm regional sales manager, by the way, for basically eastern Nebraska through Illinois, and then helping out with Indiana, Ohio area. Another colleague left, but in our area there in Northwest Iowa, North Central, so the wet conditions people are experiencing, this is year number 2 for us up in that area, southern Minnesota as well. I mean, we had 30 inches of precipitation from April through September, even before those harvest rains came last year. We're getting wet this year. 2 years in a row, we basically are a month late. So the delayed harvest last year, on top of things freezing up, very few guys north of Interstate 80 were able to get done strip tilling last year, or any tillage for that matter. I did have one guy up at Okoboji. I believe he got 4 acres done. And it's not even worth filling your rig up and, you know, having to clean it out. But with the Coulter system, the advantages of it, it's a great fall rig, but it's even better in the spring. I mean, as opposed to, the only time we ever recommend a knife or a shank is if you have to do anhydrous. So the customers have to do that. We don't like it because it's going to have the potential for smearing on the bottom and on the sides, as well as the potential for leaving air voids in the soil. And especially in hillier areas, that's where you're going to have problems with strips washing out. That's something before I came into this company, I never heard the concern, but as I learned more about it, the strip can wash out from the bottom first. You leave that smeared trough at the bottom, the water will infiltrate down to the bottom and then wash out from the bottom. And we have some other solutions to help guys with that. But as far as the challenging weather conditions, ideally you want to strip till in the same soil conditions you'd be comfortable planting into, but that was virtually impossible this year. And actually, we saw some photos of a guy getting a strip till rig, one of my customers getting a strip till rig stuck this spring. But, you know, in all reality, I'm telling guys in that area and some of these areas, if you didn't get stuck at least one strip tilling and planting, you weren't trying hard enough, because it's just been a bear of a year. And we didn't make our best looking or functioning strips this spring, but yet the guys were out there before most of their neighbors. So that's the other thing is we talk about. Anybody can make a nice looking strip. It's what's happening down below that. So, but yeah, and guys are seeing the great results too. We're gonna have a field day coming up in Eastern Iowa. I was out there visiting his farm. He's a 4R advocate. His corn was twice the height of his neighbors and darker green, and they planted on the same day. And no streaking like his neighbors had. Nice. I was gonna post something on Twitter, something about stripes are for your lawn, not for your fields. So. This is my first time here. I've always wanted to. Like I mentioned, I helped my relative strip till, and I've always wanted to come. And now I'm with Strip Till Company. It makes it easier to get here. The big things I'm hearing are, you know, fertility placement, fertility rates. That's an ongoing question with a lot of guys. Okay, many guys do cut their fertilizer rates back. We're not going to tell you that. That's not our function. That's between you and your agronomist. And but there's some guys, they want 100% of that fertility, but it's more concentrated. We have one of our growers that spoke earlier today. He said he's using the same fertility, which he used to get 220 bushel, which now he's getting 300, just because it's more concentrated, doing a better job. So what else? How to best to get into it? How do I get started is another thing, very common. And of course, the guys, I mean, so everybody's asking, again, we're not here to tell you what's best. Spring or fall or both. Strip tilling. When do you put your end down? You know, do that in the fall or on the planter? Again, these are things for customers to figure out. We just have a system that's so flexible, we can help you no matter which way you want to go. So, other hot topics, more, but I heard a little bit of it today in one of the presentations, the environmental concerns. We're going to have to do things on our own before it's what we're told to do by people who don't understand what we're doing. We're not gaining a premium on how we raise our crops yet, like the organic folks or the certified Angus beef, for example. Not to pick on them, but it's marketing. And how do we market this to help reward our growers for doing things? Because this equipment is expensive. To do this, it takes time. It's not pushing the easy button. We should be rewarded for this, for what the public is asking for. Our anhydrous rig, our coulter is set closer to the knife, so it ends up, riding up and over the rocks a little bit easier. But the biggest thing is fertilizer placement and theory of operation. So with a lot of the traditional strip-till rigs, they're leaving a concentrated band. And 20 years ago, deep banding is really what, agronomically, that's where it was at. But that's going to force the plant to find it. And then when it does find it, okay, is it too hot? And then, I've heard some people do root digs, and those roots, it is too hot, and the roots crown around that zone. Or I learned something new today, that a grower, one of our customers, is working with a seed company to try and find the reason for some instability in plants and give them some more wind tolerance. They're calling it lazy root syndrome. So once maybe they do find the fertilizer, they just stay there. They're fat, dumb, and happy right there. They don't need to go anywhere else. They don't spray any roots out to help support them. With our system, our dual coulter system, and we'll get some other video of this here, is our most popular. It's probably 70 to 80% what we sell. And in reality, if you can get guys over that cultural where they don't have to do conventional tillage, also getting them over, they may not need to do deep tillage. We don't even like to call it tillage. It's more seed bed preparation. And the other differentiator is, this is the zone. That's why we call it the zone. The other thing is our fertilizer is evenly distributed throughout that zone, whether dry or liquid. So number one, more available. Number two, safer for your plant. Number three, if you do come back with your planter and get off just a little bit, it's more forgiving as well. And it actually helps hold your planter in the zone, even without active implement steering that is available in all of our rigs. But that's the big thing. And then if you do want to go deep and you still want to take advantage of the coulter, and I was talking about rocks before, both the shallow, we call it shallow, but it still goes 6 inches deep, and a lot of guys find that's deep enough. Or you can switch back and forth on the same row unit with the deep cog, which is just 30-inch diameter cog, and it's just fingers going in with cast iron bits in there. It's amazing. It's a thin disc. How much tillage that thing will do, but it is, obviously pulls harder. You're doing more work. Some guys will run that in the fall and then come back in the spring with a shallow. Maybe they put their P&K on in the fall that stays stable, and then they come back and put their nitrogen in the strip right before they plant. We had some guys planting or stripping 2 hours right ahead of the planter this spring, so that's another advantage. And something else I'm working more with customers on, another advantage of our rig is they can seed soybeans. So it takes place of a dedicated soybean planter. Also, to be more efficient, that if you have another person, another driver, you can be out seeding soybeans the same time you're planting corn. It's not the precision placement of a planter, of course. It's more equidistant, more kind of a drill, and the depth control. It's not as precise, but yet we had a guy in northern Illinois getting 85 bushel beans out of their soil water in one pass. And we can go through 3 or 4 foot tall rye in one pass as well. So you can plant green with this too. It's just great to be associated with the product. It's just so great and adaptable. And I was drawn to this company after some experience with others. We're direct sales in most areas. We have dealers in some outlying areas. Direct sales, service, and as a salesperson like myself and most of my colleagues, we're hands-on guys. I'm a former technician. Most guys, we talk about making one call rather than having somebody provide the toolbar, somebody provide the fertilizer, somebody provide the precision. We have our own precision guy on staff. You make one call, we support it all. This is all we do. We don't make planter attachments, we don't make combines. We're not like a dealer. You walk into a dealer, they don't care whether they sell you a lawnmower or a combine, they just want to sell you something, right? No, we care about this, and we're not, we enjoy the relationships we build with our customers and like seeing them succeed. And events like this, it's really rewarding to hear them present and see what they've accomplished over the years. The ETS Soilware has been involved with this event for many years. Like I say, this is my first one. This is what, 6th year for the conference. To me, earlier today, it's just refreshing to talk to a lot of the guys that are thinking about it or already doing it. Dave Legvold talked about support groups, bouncing ideas off everybody. And I agree, but that's really what this whole event is. And I think we all agreed. We will all do things different, but yet nobody's wrong. And that's what I love about this. The early adopters, my previous job, I worked with very similar customers, and it's really refreshing to be on that cutting edge of technology and trying things, because you don't know until you try.